Hi, I'm Pete Tong. Welcome to the IMS 2012 here for our 5th year. It's a business conference basically where we have endeavoured to gather together about 400 or 500 of the brightest minds in the world of dance and electronic music, from the artists to the managers to the agents, you name it. If you're involved in the business of electronic music, you need to be here. We'll be bringing you some of the highlights from the first day, focusing in detail on my conversation with James Barton of Cream, his first public interview since selling his company to Live Nation and becoming president of Live Nation's electronic music division worldwide. Danny Tenaglia will be talking about his resignation from the business. Also on day one, the IMS partners said their hellos and talked through the headlines of IMS 2012. Then we headed straight into a world tour of dance consumers. David Boyle talking through some research by EMI Global.
If you look at the countries and you rank them by how many millions of people love dance music, this is how the ranking comes out, and just look how big the US is compared to anywhere else.
Next up was a keynote introduction on Twitter from Tatiana Simonian from the Social Media's Music Partnership team.
50% of all users on Twitter follow at least one musician. 87% of the Billboard Top 100 are on Twitter. So the top 5 most followed accounts on Twitter, all musicians. Only on Twitter would you see Skrillex shouting out that deadmau5 busted him at the Grammys by putting a t-shirt with his phone number on it.
Moving on to a presentation from Spotify by Will Hope.
If we look at the bigger picture, it's estimated that there's 500 million people listening to music, consuming music online at the moment. The vast majority of that is going to be illegitimately. So what we're focused on is getting those people into the service, monetizing them through ad sales and upselling them into the pay-for tier. That's what we've been doing so far, and it's what we're going to continue to do.
Then we met Team Chase and Status to hear how they broke the act globally. Here's Obi, their agent.
People are always looking for the next big thing, like right now it's the dubstep thing, and that kind of, even though you guys wouldn't necessarily realise it, that really affected drum and bass. So, it went from drum and bass to dubstep. Now there's this new garage thing coming through, and with like disclosures, and it's not about worrying about it, and it's just about adapting, and that's part of life. And I think that's another reason why Chase and Status do so well.
Next up was a case study with Pro Green as his team looked at the integration of consumer brands within music. And Burn Studios presented Next Gen, how to break it and make it, with a panel including Luciano. So back to James Barton and his incredible move to Live Nation.
So, well, let's start with that though. What happened? You sold the shop. Why? What's going to happen now? What's the plan?
Well, first of all, we sold the shop because we felt as though the timing of the proposal and the deal seemed to be absolutely perfect for us. On a personal level, it was 20 years of Cream this year, so I suppose I always had that in the back of my mind. That was a bit of maybe a good time to move on and try something else. And on a personal level, I thought that the opportunity to work on a bigger stage and work with different people and to work on a number of different businesses apart from Cream, it was just too tempting to turn down, really. I never look back. I never ever look back. I never sit here and sort of get nostalgic about the good old days. I mean, I've just sold the business to Live Nation, for fuck's sake, so I'm never going to sit back and look back and go, I wish we were still 500 people in an underground nightclub in Liverpool, because we wouldn't be here today. If things don't progress, if things don't move forward, all of you wouldn't be sitting here. We'd all be doing something else today. So I think we've got to be really thankful for whatever methods deadmau5, Skrillex, Marian, whoever those guys might be, used to get their music in front of people. And I want to say something about David Guetta, because David gets slammed so many times. There wouldn't be an American electronic scene without David Guetta, in my opinion. He opened up America for all of these guys to follow, and now because he's really successful, he gets a bit of stick, and I think it's wrong, because I think he's played his part, and I think a lot of us, when the history books are written, would all like to think we're in there. But I'll tell you what, David Guetta will be in there, no question about it.
To round off day one, IMS partner Ben Turner talked to the legendary DJ Danny Tenaglia, beamed in via Skype from New York.
Yeah, I'm happy to do this, and I'm really honored that you're, having me be a part of this in order to rectify what some of the confusion is, because it was a very spontaneous post from me. I never really got into this business to be a superstar DJ. That never even existed so many years ago. The whole traveling, and my big dream was to go from Brooklyn to Manhattan. I couldn't even think further outside of big nightclubs in the city, because that was the peak. And then I had gone traveling all over the world, and the peak of so much of this for me was in Ibiza, playing at Space and Posh at all the clubs, and then going out on my nights off and having a great time, But then it became too much of the celebrity thing, and it started to smother me, that I was not able to go out and enjoy myself anymore with too much attention. Spending away from home between New York and Miami, it really has been overwhelming. I thought about many times over the years, maybe I should open up a DJ school. I had suggested it and talked about it with close friends, and everybody thinks it's a great idea, but then I realized how much that would take from me, similar to like opening a record label. If I started a record label or even / DJ agency, that would take so much time away from me.
So that was day one of IMS 2012. More tomorrow with will.i.am, Diplo and Simon Dunmore. I'm off to the Carl Cox party right now. See you tomorrow.